East of Wichita Heights, seconds away from starting this basketball game. Mark Davidson, a key to the game. What do you think?
Well, everybody's going to talk about Perry Ellis, and for good reason, Mark, but I'm going to tell you about the matchup. I'm really interested tonight. It's Jalen Love of East, who's averaging almost 20 points a game in this tournament, against Terrence Moore. Moore did a great lockdown job on Trey Hallman of Dodge City last night, so keep your eye on those two tremendous guards this evening.
Included in the game activities, a famous alum of the Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions is about to address the audience. He's on the big screen. We're going to listen in as he joins us. Let's listen in on the scoreboard at Dodge City High School Arena.
The longest running invitational basketball tournament west of the Mississippi is not just a tournament, it is a lifetime of memories. Hi, I'm Lon Krueger, head basketball coach at the University of Oklahoma and proud member of the Tournament of Champions all-time, all-tournament team. Welcome to the 69th annual championship game.
And with that, the crowd comes to its feet here. We're in a warm introduction for this Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions. Lon Krueger, by the way, head coach, University of Oklahoma. In 1970, he was the free throw winner here in a tournament that has a little bit of everything. And among the free throw winners, as we look through the long list, Brett Ballard of Hutchinson High School, who won it in 1996. Now the head coach at Baker. So starting lineups are on the way, and well, it really sets this up as a fun affair. Not just your typical high school tournament, is it, Mark Davidson?
How about the production value? Now, that's a lot of fun, isn't it? We saw a lot of impact players from all 8 schools in this tournament, and it really kind of captures the emotion and the celebration for a tournament like this as we look at the starting lineups for both sides, and really some talented players, Mark, up and down the ledger for Wichita Heights and Wichita East.
Wichita Heights will go with Terrence Moore, Ely Bell, Lauren Smith, Gavin Thurman, Perry Ellis. That is the scheduled starting lineup. Meanwhile, for Wichita East, Jalen Love, Deshaun Terrell, Nathan Jackson, Deontay Brandon, and Larry Dennis. Wichita East and Wichita Heights have won their first 2 games of the Tournament of Champions by an average of 20 points. They last met in this championship in 1990. So historically, these two teams play against one another at least twice a year. In 1990, however, Heights won the Tournament of Champions finals in triple overtime. That in 1990, one of the most historic finals ever. And the 2 Greater Wichita City League representatives find themselves matched up. Ron Allen, he's the head coach of Wichita East, has been there a lot of years, played his high school basketball at Wichita Southeast. In fact, his team won a championship here at the Dodge City Tournament of Champions. He steps in, his 18th year at the current school, 286 and 139. He's been to state 6 times. And meanwhile, on the other side, Joe Hours, the head coach at Wichita Heights from the University of Iowa. Years at Heights High School, 24 years, 244s. You take a look at Ron Allen. And Joe Hours on the other side of things, 6 state appearances. Ron Allen getting his squad ready to go in a mindset, and it should be a ball game that should be representative of these 2 teams and should be just fun to watch. Opening moments, opening tip on hand. Wichita Heights dressed in its home uniforms, white trimmed in red and black, and the tip is controlled by Wichita Heights. Meanwhile, Wichita East in their navy blue uniforms, trimmed in that light blue and also white. Backdoor play coming early, travel is called, and right out of the gates, Wichita Heights turns it over. You won't see that often, But Wichita Heights did turn the ball over on the first possession of this basketball game.
Mark, the Aces come out in a man-to-man defense. Larry Dennis has the tall task of trying to guard Perry Ellis, but this is one of the few teams in the state of Kansas that can go man for man against Perry Ellis.
East going to work. It's Nathan Jackson. Jackson around it. Kimron Burst, long shot here. This is Jackson. Jackson misses. Rebound inside. Shots up no good. Ellis fights for the rebound, and Terrence Moore clears it. Wichita Heights comes back the other way. First possession, Heights didn't even get a shot off because of the turnover, and Wichita like to change that here. In the ball game, here's Preston Colback. Colback is part of the starting lineup. He started yesterday's ball game. Thurman, head fake, steps inside. Ellis had it for a moment. Ball knocked loose, out of bounds. It'll stay with Wichita Heights. So we showed you that starting lineup earlier, but in reality, Terrence Moore is a starter, along with Colback, Smith, Thurman, and Perry Ellis. That's the starting lineup for Wichita Heights. Inside, Ellis trying to find position, head fake, left-handed shots up and good.
And Larry Dennis had a pretty good hold on Perry Ellis. He fought through it, but the last place you can let Perry Ellis catch the ball is on the block. That was entirely too easy off the inbounds play for Wichita Heights.
Yesterday in the semifinal, Perry Ellis missed 4 of his first 5 shots against Dodge City. And this game hits his first one. Wichita East underneath, shots up and good. And we stepping to the free throw line will be Deontay Brandon, the football player who's certainly been aggressive in this tournament so far. The 6'6" senior, the follow-up, get a chance to give his East team the lead.
Mark, we talk about East size. Brandon and Dennis working inside, 6'8" and 6'6", and they can go up and compete on the backboards against Wichita Heights. Not able to convert on the three-point play, but I don't expect to see a dramatic disparity in the rebounding totals by the end of tonight's ball game.
East 2, Heights 2, Thurman. Gavin Thurman, who played at Wichita Southeast in the 2010-11 season. In fact, was a 19-point scorer. Scores a bucket. Now Wichita East quickly back on this pace is considerably faster in the game than we just saw. 4-4, Heights and East, 6:24 to go here, first quarter. Wichita Heights are the nation's longest winning streak, 3-time consecutive state champion, as Colback handles it for Wichita Heights. Inside Ellis, tried to get it to Ellis, but well covered by Jalen Love. That might have been a forced pass.
That was good help side defense too by Jalen Love. He scored the last bucket, may have got an extra step in there, but I thought Love was tremendous last night, Mark. Scored 21 and did it on just 11 shots. He will be the catalyst for this Wichita East offense.
Love the spin move. Officials in the ball game, Stu Chance, Dwight Nichols, John Mees. This is a very experienced crew here for this championship tilt between Wichita Heights and East, tied up at 4 early on. Both teams, again, sailed through their first 2-round games, though it was a struggle in the first quarter, particularly for Wichita Heights, with both its first and second round opponent. The team eventually wore out its opposition. Here's Moore spinning inside, covered and blocked. Colback secures. Ellis trying to drive baseline. Ellis goes underhanded, and he almost got the shot to drop. Hit both sides of the rim, rims out, and he'll step to the free throw line for a pair. So Perry Ellis really with the opportunity to create the shot. Well, that is a difficult one to get when you secure the ball and try to loop it under the basket, particularly how tall those Wichita East defenders really are.
Well, he's so graceful. He's not just a guy that takes up space inside. He's got the entire offensive package. He's got a mid-range game. He's got tremendous touch around the rim. And how they're going to create opportunities for Perry Ellis is off the dribble. When defenders have to collapse on the driver like they did right there for Terrence Moore, that's going to isolate Ellis one-on-one, and he's a tough guy to stop with one defender.
Ellis hits both. Wichita Heights leads Wichita East by a score of 6-4, 5:31 to go here first quarter. Opening minutes of the championship game of the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions. East and Wichita Heights were predicted to be in this championship contest, and it has turned out exactly as was predicted. And a lot of fans in hand want to see this ball game. There's a travel call. As shuffling his feet was Larry Dennis. The 6'8" junior gets the basketball, shuffles his feet. And I can tell you one thing, Ron Allen was up in a hurry. He does not want this squad to have unforced turnovers against Wichita Heights. It will be difficult enough.
It's one of those games in this environment, good crowd on hand, a lot's at stake, a championship in the prestigious TOC. Both teams are going to come out probably pressing a little bit, maybe trying to do more than they could or should, and we've seen a couple of possibly careless turnovers by Wichita East on the offensive end.
Ellis inside, ball's going to
help.
be knocked away. Nice help defensively by Deshaun Terrell. Wichita East wants to run. Terrell, shot up no good. Tip shot is up and good. Shot is up and good, and it's tied up again. East and Heights are tied at 6 apiece. Third tie of the ball game already.
That was Jalen Love. How athletic is he? He only stands 6'1". We saw him go up and finish with 2 hands last night in transition, and came from the perimeter to tip that in. A great follow by Jalen Love.
So Thurman is going to shoot free throws. Nathan Jackson called for the foul.
Good take there by Thurman. You know, it's an interesting kind of transformation to Thurman as he's transferred back to Wichita Heights, where he ironically started his high school career. He was more of an interior scorer at Southeast, a guy that was counted on to give him 16, 18 points a night. Now you don't want to call him a role player because he's a Division I signee, he's a tremendous athlete, but he doesn't have to do quite as much, and you'll see him start this offense from the perimeter. Can you imagine that at 6'7" in high school, starting the offense at the point guard spot?
Ellis nearly got the missed rebound, and Gavin Thurman is headed to Missouri State. That's his place of destination in the fall, and you're right, he's taken 32 three-pointers. And there's Jalen Love, who started out hitting everything he took in their semifinal contest of Hutchinson, hitting 4 consecutive trays, and he's getting a long look from Thurman. There's Love, shot no good, hit the front of the rim, then back of the rim, Wichita Heights secures the rebound, so one opportunity for East, and here comes Heights back the other way. Here's Moore, up, shot no good, but he's going to be fouled, and Wichita Heights got down the floor in a hurry. I get the feeling that Wichita Heights loves this speed. Terrence Moore, they can spread it out. Defensively, man-to-man pressure, a lot different from Dodge City's zone defense. And so far the pace is to Wichita Heights' liking, though they lead by a single point, 7-6.
Mark, before the third-place game, we talked with Leon Liebel about maybe even the necessity for a shot clock in the high school game. I can tell you won't need a shot clock in this contest. These two are going to push it up and down pretty quick. This is a game I expect to be played in the 60s, maybe 70s tonight. And that's a style that both teams are comfortable with. They have no problem running up and down, and they certainly have the horses to do it.
8-6 ball game. If you joined us early, you saw Hutchinson defeat Dodge City in the third-place game. Terrence Moore hits the free throws, and it's now a 9-6 ball game. Wichita Heights up by 3. This is Heights' biggest lead in the early part of this ball game. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Here's Love being guarded closely. A different defender now, Gabe Lynch in the ball game. Lynch has a bit of a struggle with an ankle, so quickly they pitch off Jordan Lattimore now defensively, the senior, in on Love. Yep. Travel call, boy, you saw it. Deshaun Terrell shuffled his feet, and all of a sudden Wichita East has about 4 turnovers, and Ron Allen asking for an explanation from official John Mees.
No, that was the right call, Mark. He took a little hop step there before he kind of got the wheels going. And again, I think it's just excitement, wanting to make the big play, nerves perhaps a little bit. And East just needs to settle down. I mean, the Aces have the guys to run with Heights, and just settle down and play their game.
Wichita Heights, the win streak is 54. Falcons are 10-0 on the season. Has not been easy as a traveling call goes back the other way on Wichita Heights. So both teams on the move, shuffling their feet. Turnovers are made. It has not been a flawless championship game so far, but we didn't expect that to be, as both teams may be a little tight.
It's kind of been indicative of what we've seen in this tournament, and we've seen a lot of close, kind of grinded out offensive struggles, and then things really opened up in the second and third quarters, and I think that will continue to be the case tonight.
Long shot for 3. Shots up and good. We're tied. Tied again. 4th tie in this ball game. Heights and East are tied at 9. 3:13 to go first quarter, and he was wide open, had space. Why not shoot the jumper?
Good look by Kimron Burris. And I want you to keep an eye on Gabe Lynch. You mentioned his ankle has given him problems. He's played more minutes as the tournament's gone on, but we saw him come up a little gimpier earlier, and so let's keep an eye on Gabe Lynch. He's a guy that Joe Auer needs to help this offense go.
Ellis shots up and down. It goes. He's going to step to the free throw line, and that's a high-low ball game. Gavin Thurman going to a sprinting Perry Ellis. Ellis secures the basketball, goes up, and that ball rolls home. Ellis is off to a nice start in this basketball game.
Yeah, he is. That's his 6th point already. Watch the catch. Draws the contact. Still has the strength to power it up, but the touch to get it off the window and in.
Ellis, 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year, hits the free throw. And Wichita Heights back up by 3, scores 12-9 inside 3 minutes in a fast-paced first quarter. Both teams are working. You can see they're really breathing hard so far in this ball game. A lot different from the previous 2 ball games that both teams play, particularly with the opponents trying to slap on zone defenses to try to slow both teams down. Both teams in this ball game really content to make a full octane basketball game. Falcons lead the Aces 12-9 here, 2:37 to go first quarter. Ball out of bounds. East will inbounds under its own basket. Here's Jalen Love to Kimron Burris. Long shot, and that was almost outside of Ford County, but he hits it. Ball game tied again at 12.
when he let it go, that's one of those situations where the coach goes, no, yeah. Maybe not the shot he necessarily wanted from Kimron Burris, but I'll tell you what, that young man is feeling it tonight. He stroked 2 from distance. Good follow-up right there. Wow, he's just constantly there. You've got to get a body on Perry Ellis.
I like his speed as well as his leaping ability. 14-12, Perry Ellis in the follow-up. 2:06 to go here, first quarter. Heights up by 2 on Wichita East. We've had 5 ties in this basketball game. It's Perry Ellis all the way out to guard Deshaun Terrell, which probably creates a mismatch somewhere. Trying to create that, Nathan Jackson. Ellis guarding him. Jackson, shot up, no good. Tip is good. And there's the big guy, Larry Dennis, the 6'8 junior, tips it in. We're tied again. This ball game at 14 all.
Perry Ellis has 9 of the 14 for Heights. That is a recipe for disaster for Wichita East if he's able to get going offensively like he has in this first quarter.
There's Terrence Moore looking for a cutting Jordan Lattimore. Man-to-man pressure by Wichita East. Perry Ellis handles, looks for Thurman. Thurman, long 3, shots up, no good. Had a nice look at it, ball knocked out of bounds. It'll go back to Wichita East. Now Thurman, that's his 33rd three-pointer of the year. That's quite a few of them. He's hit 12 of them, about 33%. 12 points per game, 7 rebounds per game average. So Thurman like the three-pointer. Heights, Wichita East tied at 14 apiece, 1:18 to go here in the first quarter. Deshaun Terrell handling for Wichita East. The Aces 8-3 on the season, won their first 6, then lost their next 3, have won back-to-back games here in the Dodge City Tournament Champions. Inside post up, Love looking for cutters, finds one, and a nice pass. Nathan Jackson on the feed from Jalen Love, and at 16-14 East in front.
That's what happens when you have the offensive abilities that Jalen Love has. Once he gets to the paint, you have no choice but to collapse defensively, and that left Nathan Jackson wide open. And what a tremendous find by Love. He's the one that created that bucket for East, and the Blue Aces now have reclaimed the lead.
Inside 40 seconds ago, Terrence Moore content to hold on to it, to wait till the time winds down. Guarding him, Deshaun Terrell, gives him a good 6 feet. Now inside 26 seconds to go. Again, a shot clock not available in high school basketball in Kansas. And towards the end of quarters, this is exactly what you get. Now Terrence Moore will go to work a little bit. Here's Gabe Lynch. Being guarded closely. Inside 12 seconds to go. 16-14 ball game. East leading Heights. Here's Perry Ellis. Ellis on the move.
Side.
Ball knocked loose. Ellis trying to recover. Has a man open in the corner. Ball knocked loose. Deshaun Terrell, and defensively, Wichita East did exactly what they wanted to do. Wichita East leads Wichita Heights at the end of 1. It's a 16-14 ball game. Second quarter is on the way. Close game. We saw many ties in the first quarter. You're watching the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, sponsored by Western Plains Medical Complex here at the United Wireless Arena in Cox, Kansas 22.
We know winter is a busy time of year, but we also know that you don't want to get into your car on a cold winter's morning and hear this. That's why McGuirk Chevrolet Service, Parts, and Body Shop are extending their hours to meet your busy schedule. We are now open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Your car will be ready to go when you are. McGuirk Chevrolet Service Department in Dodge City with all new hours.
The Tournament of Champions is known for good basketball, good sportsmanship, good competition, and this year, good health. Western Plains Medical Complex is your good health partner, and we're proud to be the official sponsor of the 69th Annual Tournament of Champions. Join us in saluting these talented young athletes as they compete for the TOC crown. And watch for our new series, Health Break, coming in March as part of our ongoing commitment to your good health.
16-14 ball game. Wichita East leads Heights here. We're heading to the second quarter. Ellis with 9 points in the ball game for Wichita Heights. And Burris, Kimron Burris, comes in off the bench with a 6'2 senior hitting a pair of threes. And that's our difference here. Several ties in this basketball game. The largest lead. Wichita Heights had a 3-point lead. And there were 6 ties in the first quarter of this basketball game. Back and forth we go. It's been a great ball game. Fun to watch. Crowd is into it. Hope you're enjoying. Which it figures to be a close second quarter here as Wichita East handles here. Kimron Burris, who was the first quarter hero, into the ball game as Nick Griffin in for Wichita East. He checked in just in the final seconds of the first quarter. Wichita East will set up here. Trying to put Wichita Heights in an uncomfortable scenario defensively, and Wichita East is content to work the basketball. with a 2-point lead. Would love to extend it here.
Good patience by the Aces.
Perry Ellis at 6'8", out in front to guard Kimron Burris, since Burris has the hot hand. And the 6'8" Ellis guarding Kimron at 6'2". Here's Burris. Burris on the drive. Fall away jumper up, no good. Rebound loose, and Terrence Moore comes up with it. Here's Heights. Ellis has it. Ellis takes it strong. Shots up and good. And boy, did Ellis wait for the defender to close, wait for contact. Hits the shot. This ball game tied once again. 16 apiece with Ellis stepping to the free throw line.
And Mark, it almost looked like he invited the contact. Go ahead and bump me. You're not going to keep me out of the basket. And that's just not a fair matchup. Kimron Burris has no chance. But the moral of that story is you've got to get back defensively if you're Wichita East. If you've got Perry Ellis one-on-one in transition, he's going to finish that 9 times out of 10.
Seventh tie of this basketball game. We have played 10 minutes of basketball here, and they've already had 7 ties. Ellis free throws up and rattles home, and Ellis now has 12. Wichita Heights back in front, 17-16. Wichita East quickly back, shot missed, follow up no good. Third opportunity, hanging around the rim there. There's Larry Dennis knocks it home, and East back in front, 18-17.
Good hustle play by Larry Dennis. That hand just emerged out of nowhere, didn't it, as he got up and was able to tip it in.
Big tip in numbers. Griffith leaves it for Love, shots up and good. Breakaway, layup, and an easy one for Wichita East. Now East has its biggest lead of the ball game at 20-17, leading Wichita Heights.
It looked like Griffin had a thought to himself, okay, I can take it, or I can let our Division I signee take it. He went ahead and said, okay, Mr. Love, you go ahead and finish the job for me. Love has 6 in the ball game.
Turned out to be a wise decision. So Wichita Heights in this ball game, win streak at 54, 10-0 on the year. The three-headed spear with Perry Ellis, Gavin Thurman, and Terrence Moore. And certainly Wichita East defense and the steal countering that.
But you know what, Mark? That's actually a smart basketball play, and we kind of giggled about it. But he saw Gavin Thurman closing on his left side, so realized by leaving it for Love right there, he could almost serve as a screener and give Love a clear path to the basket. So a heads-up play by Nick Griffin. Both teams shooting it extremely well. Both sides shot better than 50% in the first quarter. And this has just been a well-played basketball game to this point. And, you know, we should expect nothing less. And I will say this. Wichita East doesn't look like a team that had lost 3 straight games going into this tournament. You almost wonder to yourself, how did this team lose 3 straight? Because the Blue Aces look like a squad that should compete for the City League title, no doubt about it.
East says one thing, if you describe them, the versatility, the height, the speed, they can score inside and out. Beat Dodge City, in fact, by 28 points in the season opener. Dodge City has played both of these teams, and it was alluded to, Coach Hamilton. It's a coin flip with Wichita East to Wichita Heights, but did predict that Wichita East would beat Heights at least once this season. Perhaps it might happen here. Aces lead Heights by a score of 20-17. Joe Auer calling a timeout. And this is the first play out of it. They'll get Ellis and Thurman in the high-low scenario against that man-to-man pressure. Perry Ellis. Guarding him is Larry Dennis. With the basketball, Gabe Lynch being guarded closely by Deshaun Terrell. Long shot from 17, rattles home. That's a mid-range jumper from Gavin Thurman, 2019 ball game.
And that's so hard to defend. When you've got to defend 6'7" in the block, and then you've also got a guy that can step out from the elbow and knock down a 15-footer. Gavin Thurman's got a very nice game. And he will be a guy that will play primarily on the perimeter at the next level, so that mid-range game will come in very handy as he joins the Missouri Valley next year at Missouri State.
So Nick Griffin, ball was knocked loose, and inbounding will be Jalen Love, the 6'1 senior, and certainly the catalyst for Wichita East, who gives to his running mate Deshaun Terrell. Terrell will run the point guard duties and trying to get Jalen Love open on the screens. In fact, comes below at a baseline move off a screen, and the ball is left for Deshaun Terrell. So working against that man-to-man pressure, Wichita Heights, good ball game, 20-19, Wichita East in front, and a timeout's going to be called by Ron Allen. Allen wants to gather his troops and talk a little offense. Kind of fun to prognosticate what they're talking about, but those coaches know one another very well. They've coached against one another many times in Wichita City League action, so it's almost like they can read one another as far as the sets and the game is concerned. There's a bit of a chess game going on there. Trying to be unpredictable against one another is probably going to be really difficult, so it probably comes down to execution. That's probably a key.
I think you hit all the points right there, Mark. Neither side is really going to do anything the other hasn't seen to this point. You're not going to see a lot of gimmicks. It's kind of like you know what you do, and we're going to try to do it to the best of our ability. And you're right, at that point, it becomes a matter of execution. And I feel like both teams have executed their game plan pretty well to this point.
I think what you will see between these two teams particularly as this game advances, how important each possession in this basketball game is going to be. That will be a key as this game progresses. Both teams want to make sure that they at least, at minimum, get a good shot off. Pass inside, Thurman guarding. Underneath, ball by Larry Dennis is knocked away. Thurman comes up with it. Thurman leaves it for Moore. Moore to Ellis, dunk! Alley-oop over the top of it. Perry Ellis with a slam, and Wichita Heights takes the lead at 21-20, and that's how you rally with style.
And that's how you'll get these fans into the ball game, whether they came because they had passes or whether they came because they're fans of Easter Heights. If you've got some non-committal fans in there, that's how you get them on your side.
Marquee players from both teams. Perry Ellis with a dunk, and then Jalen Love counters with a sort of a double chuck shot underneath, and Wichita East leads Heights now 22-21 as the Aces retake the lead. Both teams have made some substitutions. Ely Bell in the ball game. Perry Ellis misses the shot inside, and the rebound is cleared away by Jalen Love. Knocked away, and an easy one coming in a layup. What a defensive play by Terrence Moore as he steps in on the outlet pass, and Heights is back in front 23-22.
If you're Wichita East, Larry Dennis plays great defense. You get one and done on Perry Ellis as he misses the short jumper, and then you turn it over on the other end of the floor. You cannot do that.
Wichita East goes on the attack. This is Deshaun Terrell.
And Mark, one of the things I talked about off the top was the matchup of Terrence Moore and Jalen Love, but Ely Bell is actually drawing the Love matchup right now, and he is thought of as one of the Falcons' best defenders.
Off the left hand, and Terrence Moore makes back-to-back nice plays, but he's going to get called for the foul. Moore gets called for the charging foul, and to go back the other way. Terrence certainly didn't see it that way, and Joe Hours asking for an explanation.
Well, I don't know if they're going to say that. Well, there's the look at Perry Ellis with the finish right there off the great look from Terrence Moore. Moore's starting to find his game a little bit. I don't know if they're going to accuse him of using the off arms or push off on the defender because it didn't look like he beat into the spot defensively.
Heights up by one, 23-22. East led the end of the first quarter, 18-16. Game has gone back and forth, 7 ties, and now several lead changes. An entertaining basketball game. Here's Love, 18-footer shot, no good. Rebound underneath, and the foul is going to be called. What a hustle play by Nathan Jackson. He's a 6'5 senior, got to the basketball, and the foul is going to be called on Gabe Lynch. Once again, as we've talked about, Wichita East, tall team, 6'5, 6'8, 6'7. 6'6 young man comes off the bench, as does a 6'7 player. So no shortage of height for Wichita East.
No free throws for Nathan
Ball's
Jackson.
be knocked away on the inbounds play. East couldn't get it in. Terrence Moore bring it over the top, tried to go for Perry Ellis, and Ellis never saw it coming. And I think Ellis thought that Moore was going to shoot it, and Terrence Moore would have been better served had he shot that basketball.
Well, I think Terrence Moore thought the East High help side defense was relaxing on the play as he kind of taps his own chest and says, hey, my bad. But a good job by East of recovering defensively, and Perry Ellis just had nowhere to go to get that basketball.
East ball knocked out of bounds, and traveling call. It's going to go back the other way. Contact made, but the call is traveling, and Heights Gabe Lynch will inbound to Gavin Thurman. So 3 minutes to go, 23-22 ball game. Both coaches are really working the officials here. And a game that's featured many lead changes and several ties. Thurman, Ellis being double teamed, Love inside, as is Dennis. Working the perimeter, Gabe Lynch. Man-to-man pressure still applied. And Deshaun Terrell is really quick. But inside, Gabe Lynch had a nice looking opportunity at it. Ball knocked loose. And Heights will inbound.
Last touch by Larry Dennis. Good call by our officials.
Substitution is made. Here comes Lauren Smith into the ball game for Heights, and sitting down is Ely Bell. Heights goes 8 or 9 deep. All these players a year ago, with the exception of Moore and Perry Ellis, were playing junior varsity basketball on a very talented Heights team, which included Wichita State freshman Evan Wessel. Perry Ellis was the closest to it. And Heights didn't have a very good offensive possession that time down.
No, and maybe there you think about using the timeout. Gabe Lynch tried the old throw it off the opponent's foot, and that didn't work. So here comes East with a chance to take the lead. Jalen Love has been quieted for the moment, but he'll be guarded now by Gabe Lynch. And the last guy you want to guard with a bum ankle is Jalen Love.
Both teams working hard defensively. trying to get some open looks. Here's Love. Love guarded. The three-pointer no good. Here's Ellis, which Heights has numbers 4 on 1. Here's Thurman. Thurman looks for Moore. Moore had it for a moment and keeps it in bounds. Here comes East back the other way. Love has pretty much open court. Leaves it for a teammate. Nicely done, Nathan Jackson. Jackson the 2. Wichita East goes out in front, 24-23, and back and forth they go.
That's what I like so much about Jalen Love's game. The last 2 plays he's created for his team, he's created with the pass. He penetrates. It's passing up a good shot for a better shot, and found Nathan Jackson in transition for the score.
Ellis shot left-handed, no good. Nicely defended. What a job by Larry Dennis, the 6'8 junior, right on Perry Ellis, and guarded him without fouling. Here's Love. Love 15-footer is up and no good. Ellis rebound. East had a chance to extend their lead to 3. Instead, it's a 1-point ball game. Ellis hesitation. Inside middle is bounced, and he's fouled, and the shot no good. Well, you see the balance from Perry Ellis, but when he's on the move, on a fast break opportunity, you see how he gathers his legs underneath him, checks both lanes to see the passing opportunity. In that case, he was the right answer. Put up a nice shot. He misses it, but he'll step to the free throw line.
Jalen Love tried to take a charge right there, but just got there a half tick too late. Perry Ellis is much easier to defend in the half court, and I use easier with the air quotes, but I think Larry Dennis has done a pretty nice job on Perry Ellis when Heights attacks them in a half court set. But if Ellis can get out and run in transition, Mark, you talked about how fast he is. Well, if he gets the ball on the run, there's almost nobody who can stop him.
Perry Ellis, 8th tie and breaks it. 25-24 Heights back in front. Perry Ellis has done a terrific job at the free throw line as well as we reach the 1:30 mark before intermission in a 25-24 ball game. Wichita East handling.
16 points already for Perry Ellis, who scored 27 each in the first 2 games of this tournament for Wichita Heights.
Into the ball game, Luke Nestor. He's a 6'7 player who leaves it for Nathan Jackson. Jackson driving, puts a shot up, deflected by Perry Ellis. East gets it back. Shot is partially blocked, and it's going to be good. Nice shot by Wichita East. Foul is going to be called on Thurman, and East is back in front, 26-25. A second opportunity for East, and the Aces cash in.
Kids, you talk about the ability to be able to finish with both hands. Jackson felt the presence on his right side, was able to switch to the offhand, go up left-handed, drew the contact, and able to roll it in. That's a tremendous play.
Jackson, nice arch on the free throw as Wichita East goes up by 2, 27-25. Largest lead in this ball game, 3 points by both teams. Wichita East has had a 3-point lead. Wichita Heights has had a 3-point lead. And right now, East is up by 2. Inside a minute to go before intermission. Leon Liebel will join us at halftime with more on the Dodge City Tournament, High School Tournament of Champions. So stay with us. There's Thurman, 17-footer, rims out. Rebound by Luke Nestor. He's a workmanlike player. Gets an important rebound for East. The Aces quickly back, left wide open, hit 2 threes in the first quarter. Short that time as Thurman comes back the other way. Boy, he is not hesitant about the basketball and taking care of it. Thurman with Ellis trying to gain position inside. This is one of the smallest players on the floor. Hits the basket using his body well. Terrence Moore scores. And guess what? We're tied once again at 27-all.
And East will hold now for the last shot. What a finish by Terrence Moore. Should we expect anything less than to be knotted up at 27 apiece about halfway through this ball game? 2 very evenly matched teams, and now Moore's going to get a chance at one more.
Moore with another steal, and Terrence Moore has had a tremendous championship game. Comes across the steal. Long shot by Love, no good, and that is how the half will end. Had a chance for East to take the lead, but instead Wichita Heights makes a tremendous defensive play. And as we head to intermission, it is 29 for Heights, Wichita East 27. The Falcons take a 2-point lead and a 54-game winning streak to intermission. Perry Ellis leads his Heights Falcons into the locker room. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, Leon Liebel will join us. You're watching the 69th Annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, sponsored by the Western Plains Medical Complex at United Wireless Arena on Cox, Kansas 22.
And all these folks said is, I want to check with Lubers first.
Uh-oh, and that's when they get really aggressive.
Yeah, they were surrounded by like 5 guys trying to strong-arm them into signing a contract right on the spot. It happens all too often.
Don't let it happen to you. Hold your ground and check with Lubers before you sign anything.
Or better yet, check with any of our 3 Lubers locations first. Nobody treats you like family like my family.
Lubers, the friendly way to buy. Come and see us.
You may have heard claims from other gold and silver buyers about how well they pay. The truth is, we're the only precious metal buyer in western Kansas accredited by the Better Business Bureau. In addition, we have relationships with trade desks, collectors, and refiners in order to pay you top dollar. Doesn't matter if it's your grandmother's old silverware set or just one gold ring. We are located in Dodge City, so call 620-225-0414 today to set your personal appointment.
The Tournament of Champions is known for good basketball, good sportsmanship, good competition, and this year, good health. Western Plains Medical Complex is your good health partner, and we're proud to be the official sponsor of the 69th Annual Tournament of Champions. Join us in saluting these talented young athletes as they compete for the TOC crown. And watch for our new series, Health Break, coming in March as part of our ongoing commitment to your good health.
Cox knows the key to getting the most out of the internet: speed. Which is why we're committed to always providing you with blazing fast speeds for all of your internet needs. Cox high-speed internet is simply faster than DSL, and it has Power Boost, an extra surge of speed to help you download videos, pictures, and large files all in the blink of an eye. Something you can't get from the phone company's internet service. So buckle up and surf the web at speeds you've only imagined with Cox high-speed internet.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the United Wireless Arena in Dodge City. I'm Leon Liebel as we bring you live coverage of the 69th Annual Dodge City Tournament of Champions. We are at halftime of the championship game between Wichita Heights and Wichita East, and the Heights Falcons, led by Perry Ellis. It's a great game so far. They lead 29-27 at the half. I'm joined now by the principal of Dodge City High School, Jackie Feist, and we've talked about this tournament a lot the last few days, the traditions and how special it is. But what's it mean to Dodge City High School to be part of such a great event?
Well, the tournament in and of itself holds so much history, but if we look at it from the perspective of our students and our community for this week, it's really a big thing. Our kids are so involved. There's about 250 of our high school students that are directly involved all 3 days. We have kids that are assigned to every team who are managers, facilitate any needs that they have while they're in town. We have coaches that are involved in helping set up practices and shoot-arounds for the teams during the week. High school kids from all of the teams and the cheerleading squads have been to our elementary buildings the last 2 days, reading with kids. So we really try to really make it more than just basketball games for 3 days. In addition to that, our pep band's been here all 3 days. They've been here every game.
Every game?
Every game. And our cheerleaders have been here every game. Our drill team has performed every night, so it's really a big thing for the high school and for the community.
Yeah, pep band, they kind of support all the teams. They
Absolutely,
can't bring bands
yes.
and things like that.
They play for everybody.
Now, because there's so many kids involved, I would assume there's a real sense of pride, ownership in this tournament.
Absolutely. The Tournament of Champions is synonymous with Dodge City. Throughout the state, I get lots of people when I'm out and about that ask about it. And I think probably what makes it special is not only do we draw great basketball teams, but we draw lots of people to our community who like to see the whole tournament, that includes the cheerleaders, that includes the basketball, that includes the camaraderie of all the teams together and the unity. So it's pretty special. And
the entertainment like we have going on right now at the Dodge City High School drill team. The crowds have been pretty good, too, here in the new arena.
The crowds have been great. Last night was phenomenal. You know, it helped that Dodge was playing Wichita Heights, and that brought a lot of excitement for our student body, for our community. But even today, the crowds have been great. We're real pleased with how things have turned out in the transition to the arena.
For people who don't know, Jackie Feist was a pretty outstanding athlete in her own right at Claflin High School back in, well, not that long ago, back in the day. And so you really got to enjoy this type of event as an educator.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear part of that, Leon.
I said you have, as a former athlete, you have to enjoy this type of event more than just as an educator, just from an athletic standpoint.
Absolutely. It's great for kids. Just take, for example, the teams that are here this year. The young men who are from Ulysses, this is a bigger venue than they'll see much of the year. Great opportunity for those kids, as well as every other athlete here, to play against some of the competition. We have some excellent athletes on the floor, and you know, Perry Ellis, what a great kid, but he has a 4.0 GPA. What a great example that he sets for young kids. You can be a great athlete and also a great student at the same time.
I know you've been very busy. You had a chance to watch a lot of basketball. I don't know if you've had that chance, but this championship game is pretty good so far.
Great. I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun. It's been fun for the kids, and I just think across the board there's been some really good games.
Jackie, thank you so much for taking time out with us. Jackie Pipes, the principal, Dodge City High School, of course. Dodge City High School, the sponsor, the organization that puts on this fabulous event every year since 1944, the 69th annual Dodge City Tournament of Champions. And again, we are at halftime of the championship game where Wichita Heights, the Falcons, leading Wichita East by just 2 points, 29-27. We'll talk more about that when we return here at the United Wireless Arena in Dodge City.
The Tournament of Champions is known for good basketball, good sportsmanship, good competition, and this year, good health. Western Plains Medical Complex is your good health partner, and we're proud to be the official sponsor of the 69th Annual Tournament of Champions. Join us in saluting these talented young athletes as they compete for the TOC crown. And watch for our new series, Health Break, coming in March as part of our ongoing commitment to your good health.
And all these folks said is, I want to check with Lubers first.
Uh-oh, and that's when they get really aggressive.
Yeah, they were surrounded by like 5 guys trying to strong-arm them into signing a contract right on the spot. It happens all too often.
Don't let it happen to you. Hold your ground and check with Lubers before you sign anything.
Or better yet, check with any of our 3 Lubers locations first. Nobody treats you like family like my family.
Lubers, the friendly way to buy. Come and see us.
You may have heard claims from other gold and silver buyers about how well they pay. The truth is, we're the only precious metal buyer in western Kansas accredited by the Better Business Bureau. In addition, we have relationships with trade desks, collectors, and refiners in order to pay you top dollar. Doesn't matter if it's your grandmother's old silverware set or just one gold ring. We are located in Dodge City, so call 620-225-0414 today to set your personal appointment.
We know winter is a busy time of year, but we also know that you don't want to get into your car on a cold winter's morning and hear this. That's why McGuirk Chevrolet Service, Parts, and Body Shop are extending their hours to meet your busy schedule. We are now open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Your car will be ready to go when you are. McGuirk Chevrolet Service Department in Dodge City with all new hours.
Dodge City High School drill team takes a bow on the Moulin Rouge theme, and the fans got into it. What a great job they did. And what a great job by both teams in this ball game. We reached halftime here. Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions for the 69th time and the 69th champion, and 2 more quarters to go in a 2-point ball game. It's been tremendous so far. Wichita Heights leads this one by a score of 29-27. And as we take a look at the statistics, I guess one thing that jumps out at me is the fact that Wichita Heights has 11 turnovers.
Yeah, Wichita Heights has turned it over.
Or is that East? East has 11. Well, we might have it back. We might have it back according to what the stats that I have. But nonetheless, things are dead even. Wichita Heights has stepped to the free throw line and hit 9 of 10 free throws.
Yeah, that's big, I think. East went cold shooting from the floor in the second quarter. Heights knocked down the majority of its shots. Mark, it's safe to say the stars have come to shine in this basketball game. I mean, if you look at the contributors for Wichita Heights, 3 players have scored. And who are those 3 players? Well, they're the 3 players who are going to go on and play college basketball. Terrence Moore, who I thought was outstanding in the first half, had 8, 5 points for Gavin Thurman. And what else would you expect from Perry Ellis but 16 points and 5 rebounds?
And meanwhile, Wichita East had 5 players score. Jalen Love had 8 points, and Nathan had 7 points. So a pretty good ball game so far. Leon Liebel joining us at courtside. And from your vantage point, Leon, I know you've seen a good basketball game. I love pointing out the fact that we just played 16 minutes of basketball. We had 9 ties, and we had 10 lead changes. You don't ever see a basketball game with 16 minutes and that many back-and-forth moments.
And I'm not sure the scoreboard here at the United Wireless Arena is accustomed to putting all these points up compared to the games we've seen. It's fun to watch a little offense finally. But
getting those guys to work, yeah, they're really punching those buttons up.
2 outstanding teams, East and Heights, watching them go up and down the floor. But Perry Ellis, what amazes me about him as I continue to watch him, he's got 16 points, but he's caught a quiet 16 points, but maybe
he did have that slam dunk. That was pretty loud.
That was nice. That was nice. But I mean, all of a sudden you're like, wow, he's got 16 points.
Yeah, he's like that.
How'd that happen?
I agree. Let's play coaches right now. Ron Allen and Joe Hour, you know, as we've mentioned during the telecast so far, they played against one another several times during the season, and they know how this chess game works. If you're Ron Allen, what do you tell your team here based on what you've seen so far here in the first half?
Offensively, I like what they're doing. They're attacking the glass. They're getting second chance opportunities. I thought Jalen Love had a nice first half as we look at some of those first half highlights. But I think the key for East defensively is you've got to get back in transition, because for as good as Perry Ellis is of creating his own shot inside, he's almost impossible to stop when you've got him one-on-one on the run. And so I think it will be ultra important for East not to let Heights outrun him up and down the floor.
Meanwhile, what do you think Joe Hour is telling his clubs, Leon Liebel, Joe Hour, the head coach, Wichita Heights?
I think maybe do some of the same things East is doing, attack the basket, get the ball inside to Perry Ellis. You know, what amazes me is it's easier said than done. You really need to box off. We always say that, but Perry Ellis is amazing how he gets around defenders down low without the ball.
And part of that, Leon, is athleticism too, and that he's able to get rebounds by jumping over guys and not landing on their back. I mean, he is so talented, he is so coordinated, and there are times when East is in good position and Perry Ellis just jumps over a defender and makes a play.
I think when we talk about his quiet 16 points, sometimes it's because he gets so many follow-up baskets. We saw that last night against Dodge City.
Heights has had 3 players score so far. There was a ball game, in fact, several ball games where the starting lineup has dominated scoring. In one game, 5 starters scored all 60 points. They use about 8, 9 players. Is that a concern at all or not?
Well, I think it's a reminder for East High School that if Terrence Moore attacks, if Gavin Thurman's got it within 15 feet, you've got to close out on those guys. Maybe you make a guy like Ely Bell or Gabe Lynch knock down a shot before you kind of loosen up on the perimeter a little bit.
I think an intangible, too, in this game, we talked about it before the game, East High has a lot of confidence going into this game, especially after the way they played last night, and I would assume so after this first half.
Well, good to hear from both of you. We'll see how this thing turns out. This is going to be a lot of fun. We got 2 quarters to play. You're watching the 69th Annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, sponsored by Western Plains Medical Complex here on Cox, Kansas 22.
The Tournament of Champions is known for good basketball, good sportsmanship, good competition, and this year, good health. Western Plains Medical Complex is your good health partner, and we're proud to be the official sponsor of the 69th Annual Tournament of Champions. Join us in saluting these talented young athletes as they compete for the TOC crown. And watch for our new series, Health Break, coming in March as part of our ongoing commitment to your good health.
And all these folks said is, I want to check with Lubers first.
Uh-oh, and that's when they get really aggressive.
Yeah, they were surrounded by like 5 guys trying to strong-arm them into signing a contract right on the spot. It happens all too often.
Don't let it happen to you. Hold your ground and check with Lubers before you sign anything.
Or better yet, check with any of our 3 Lubers locations first. Nobody treats you like family like my family.
Lubers, the friendly way to buy. Come and see us.
You may have heard claims from other gold and silver buyers about how well they pay. The truth is, we're the only precious metal buyer in western Kansas accredited by the Better Business Bureau. In addition, we have relationships with trade desks, collectors, and refiners in order to pay you top dollar. Doesn't matter if it's your grandmother's old silverware set or just one gold ring. We are located in Dodge City, so call 620-225-0414 today to set your personal appointment.
So, you're thinking about changing your phone service, but you're really attached to your phone number. Not a problem with Cox. Simply call us and say you want to add Cox Digital Telephone. We can do it for you, or we'll send you everything you need to make the switch. It's easy enough that you can do it yourself, and we're just a phone call away if you need help. It's convenient and super easy to switch to Cox. And your phone number stays your phone number. Cox Digital Telephone.
The 12th game of the 3rd day of the Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions comes down to this, with 2 representatives of the Greater Wichita City League meeting for the 2nd time on the season, this time a tournament game to decide a prestigious tournament title. And right now, Wichita Heights leads East by a score of 29-27. Along with Leon Liebel and Mark Davidson, I'm Mark Ewing. Glad to have you on board as this event, 69 years old, is being seen statewide and live across the Cox footprint in the state of Kansas. Glad to have you on board. This is a game we've been talking about and a game we've been looking forward to for a considerable time. It has come down to Perry Ellis Heights bunch up by 2 points on an East squad of 29-27. Again, among the stats we're taking a close eye on, the fact that Wichita Heights got to the free throw line, hit 9 of 10 free throws. Perry Ellis did a terrific job. The second half now underway with Wichita Heights again in the white uniforms, trimmed in red. Wichita East in their navy blue. Inside pass to Ellis. Ellis backed up his defender, who was Larry Dennis, and Dennis reached over for the foul.
I'm not sure Dennis had a choice right there. It was either let Perry Ellis catch that close to the bucket, turn around and dunk, or foul him, but you cannot let him catch that close. You've got to try to, it's easier said than done, I realize, but you've got to try to work him and force him out of the paint.
Long shot Moore. Shot rimmed off. Rebound coming down to Deontay Brandon, and back comes Wichita East.
And, Mark, that'll be key right there. One and done for Wichita Heights. They shot better than 55%. But if the Falcons miss a shot, the Aces have to control the rebound.
Dennis rolls in the shot. 17-footer. The big guy can play. We're tied up again at 29 apiece. As to no surprise, in a game that has seen 9 ties, now the 10th tie underway. Easton Heights, with Heights having the basketball. 7:14 mark, third quarter. And here's Ellis looking for Thurman. Ellis left unguarded temporarily, and then gives it up. Long three by Thurman. Shot no good. Rebound. Nice rebound job. Stolen away. Ellis dunks it. Ellis takes it right out of the midst of DeAndre Brandon. And what a job by Ellis to hit the dunk. 31-29. You will not see that kind of play.
We talked about one and done. They got the missed shot, and Perry Ellis just ripped the basketball away and then went up with 2 hands and finished with authority. What a play by the 3-time player of the year in the state of Kansas.
Nathan Jackson backing in on Gabe Lynch. Lynch is going to get called for the foul. And Nathan Jackson was shooting at the time, so Jackson's going to step to the free throw line. A key offensive player for the Aces is Nathan Jackson at 6'5". You look at Joe Auer on the sidelines. Knew his team would be in for a close ball game, expected it all along. Finds his squad up 2, now 1. As Jackson hits the free throw.
Jackson among the academic all-tournament selections as well, so a young man who excels on the floor and in the classroom, and he's knocked down his free throws. Both teams have shot it well from the foul line so far. The Aces haven't had the opportunities that Heights has, but I'm telling you what, Mark, this is fun, isn't it? I mean, this is just 2 good basketball teams going back and forth.
11 ties, 10 lead changes. Here's Perry Ellis. Ellis spin move to the lane, puts it up over defender. Shot's no good. Moore on the rebound, trying to find a player to pass it to. And a tie up on the floor is going to go back to Wichita East. So Perry Ellis misses the shot, but Moore underneath hustles for the rebound, but Wichita East comes up with it on the jump ball.
Ron Allen encouraging his team and saying, get on the floor and get the basketball. This game may come down to a play or two right now, and it may be a loose ball that one team comes up with that turns into a possession going the other way.
Wichita East loves an open court kind of basketball game, which this has been so far. Would love to get 3 double-figure scores. Would love to get on track from long range. Deshaun Terrell misses the jumper, and Perry Ellis handles for Wichita Heights. Falcons again, 54-game win streak, 3 consecutive back-to-back state championships. A lot of hardware in the Wichita Heights trophy case, particularly following a season in which Heights won football, basketball titles, wrestling titles, and a bowling title. Here's Ellis underneath, and he's going to get locked down, and the foul is going to get called on Deontay Brandon.
I'm going to tell you where that play broke down. East got caught on a bad switch up top, and Jalen Love ended up on Perry Ellis, and that's for as good as Jalen Love is. As we take a look at Perry Ellis, watch this. He just went in there and took the basketball away. And if you're Deontay Brandon, you've got to be stronger than that. I mean, you've got to chin it, you've got to come down, elbows out, and secure the ball. But where this play broke down was where Jalen Love ended up on a bad switch on Perry Ellis, and he was able to catch inside.
Ellis, 2 free throws. Nice job by Perry Ellis. He's done it all in this ball game and lifts his Falcons via the 2 made free throws to a 33-31 advantage. 5:37 to go, third quarter, and East back on the attack offensively. Have played well on offense. And the dribble drive, long shot. Love, 3-pointer missed, rebound loose. Underneath it, Heights had it for a moment. It's going to stay with East. Lauren Smith had his hands on it, but just could not secure it. Knocks it out of bounds. East will inbounds under its own basket.
I like that look. I mean, good penetration and kick out to Jalen Love. He just rimmed it out, and that's just too easy. Entirely too easy.
Yeah, inbounds play. DeAndre Brandon on the inbounds play scores. And we're tied up once again, 33 apiece, 5:15 to go in the third quarter. Heights working against extended man-to-man pressure. In fact, Wichita East at least flirting with the idea of playing a little a diamond and three.
Maybe just kind of a sagging man-to-man. It is a different look. You're right, Mark.
Yeah, well, we may check that next time. Here's Love, takes it to the rim. Layup shot no good. Thurman on the rebound. Heights trying to come back the other way, but the foul is going to be called. And probably a good thing because Wichita Heights had numbers going back the other way. So Ron Allen may be calling a little bit different defense. That trip down, we'll check it this time down.
Yeah, let's take a look at what they're going to do defensively. I think even if you're going to play a man-to-man, you've got to play a help-first man-to-man defense. And it looks like man-to-man to me, Mark. But again, it looks like
it's definitely man-to-man at this. Well, it's
kind of a hybrid 3-2 matchup zone.
Here's Moore, long three's good. Moore on target. Wichita Heights lead this ball game 36-33, and Ron Allen wants timeout. Wichita East calls timeout following the long three-pointer, and Terrence Moore simply slipped away from the East defenders, found himself wide open. And that's the thing about Wichita Heights. They haven't won as much as they have by simply not playing a high IQ of basketball. He recognized that although the idea is to go inside to Perry Ellis, when you're open for a three-point, you got that much space.
Well, you saw what happened there. They double off of Terrence Moore, a young man who has the ability to knock down an outside shot, and it's kind of pick your poison if you're Wichita East. But still, Mark, as we look through the score column, only 3 men have scored for Wichita Heights, those being Terrence Moore, Gavin Thurman, and Perry Ellis. And I thought Terrence Moore was not at his best last night. I think he's been tremendous so far this evening.
Did you notice that both coaches quickly called timeout given the scenario where the other team got a big hoop? They recognize momentum is important in this basketball game.
I think the use of timeouts is underappreciated in the game of basketball, and I think momentum is so important. Bill Self, how many times will you see it? A team goes on a little 4-0 surge. He will immediately call a timeout, not as much to coach up his players, but to give them a chance to kind of catch their breath and refocus, and I think that's what Ron Allen tried to do there, although he won't be happy with the turnover.
He won't be happy with it because a miscue out of the timeout. Generally speaking, following a timeout, your team will do at least one great offensive possession, something you can draw up and have some patience with your team that time. Heights does the defensive wonder and now gets the basketball back. 36-33 ball game, more handling, pressure. Jalen Love looking for a call there, as was Ron Allen. Meanwhile, Wichita Heights trying to settle down easy one inside. The post-up move by Gabe Lynch, a 6-foot senior. Well, he looked like a big post player with the hoop there.
Yeah, he did. That was a post player move. He's got some size about him for no taller than he is. He stands just 6 feet tall, but good catch and score inside. And now East looks a little frazzled, although that's a great look into Larry Dennis, and he's got to finish that. And Jackson can't finish the bunny either. 2 good looks from point-blank range, and the aces come up empty. And now Thurman wide open.
Thurman misses. Ellis trying to hustle the rebound. He's going to be fouled. The biggest lead in the ball game is right now as Wichita Heights leads Wichita East by 5. 3:31 to go here in the third quarter. And boy, did Perry Ellis go up high for that rebound.
Mark, I want to go back to what happened on the other end. You're not going to get 2 better looks than what Larry Dennis and Nathan Jackson had. And we're going to see this play as they try to go inside to Lynch. And he just spins off the much smaller Deshaun Terrell right there. I mean, he could potentially post Terrell up. Terrell only stands 5'7". That's a distinct height advantage as he goes to work on him again.
Ellis, nice pass. Gabe Lynch scores. The biggest lead for Wichita Heights now extends itself from 5 to 7. It's 40-33, 3:23 to go, and Gabe Lynch was the right play.
Well, again, Mark, it's a size mismatch on Deshaun Terrell, and Gabe Lynch is just stronger and goes up and finishes.
So Lynch again with a gimpy ankle. It looks pretty good there. Health, in fact, was a concern for Wichita Heights. They've played in some close, highly contested, physical contests. And a team that admittedly needs Gabe Lynch to be part of it. He misses the free throw. 7-point ball game, 3:20 to go, and this is an important possession for Wichita East.
This is the first time all night we've seen separation either way. And this is time to refocus, maybe draw up a little something or call a little something for Love, although Burris has been hot from 3.
And how about Gabe Lynch's play? Got the long rebound on the weak side.
Yeah, he's been a nice spark off the bench.
More handling for Wichita Heights. Thurman out front, perimeter, Lynch inside, the ball inside to Perry Ellis, and he was fouled by Jordan Hester. Hester getting called for the foul. He's a 6'2 junior. And Perry Ellis had position down low. The foul is going to be called.
This is gut check time for the East High Aces. They've got to get a stop defensively. They've got to dig in, play tough, and limit the Falcons to one shot and out.
Ball knocked loose out of bounds. Heights will retain possession. Wichita East blocked 14 shots against Dodge City. So defensively, East is a long team and a team that won't give you very many easy ones. And the fact that Wichita Heights, in fact, got a couple of easy ones is certainly testament to the way the Heights Falcons have run themselves offensively. Here's Ellis. Ellis looks both ways. Floating jumper to the right side, gets the shot to drop. Fans on hand say, whoa, did that look impressive? It's now a 9-point lead. It's Wichita Heights' largest lead in the ball game at 9. East handling now. Whistle's called, timeout for Wichita East. It's going to be a short timeout. Joe Auer gathers his troop, and Ron Allen is trying to get this momentum to turn around, and so far struggling with it.
Let's take a look at this last trip by Wichita Heights. Jordan Hester was there, but Perry Ellis just gave him a little shake to one side, went back to his strong hand. That's a tremendous move.
2:31 to go, 42-33 ball game, 9-point ball game. First game on this Saturday saw Ulysses defeat Hayes by a score of 40-38. That was in the 7th place game. A young man by the name of Garrett Kissel hit a tip in at the buzzer for a really exciting contest. And not to be outdone, St. James Academy defeated Manhattan by a score of 47-43. That game went to overtime. Meanwhile, in the 3rd, 5th place game, a game that went back and forth, though it was a low-scoring contest, it was exciting. Hutchinson rallied from 7 points down to win by 7, 44-37. And that's setting up the championship round. Wichita Heights in this one leads East by a score of 42-33 into the first quarter. East was up 2 at 18-16. Heights took a halftime lead at 29-27. And Ron Allen is a coach trying to turn this thing around. He senses the momentum is clearly in the uniform of the guys that were the light uniforms so far.
I think it's important that East not settle for the first open three-pointer here and really try to work the ball inside out.
Perry Ellis doubling up with Gabe Lynch down low.
That's
drive the lane, nice take. Nice take by Wichita East to Sean Terrell, and you said it, looking for an opening, big hoop for East. 7-point lead for Wichita Heights, 2:07 to go, a 3rd quarter championship game. Inside Ellis, he's double teamed. He notices the defender.
That's just tough. He's so strong and he's so tall. You try to put a smaller man on him to try to match his quickness, and he goes over the top. There are only so many things you do. You try to double, you try to play help side defense, but he is a tough assignment for any high school player.
Well, you try to read game faces sometimes, and sometimes you just, instead of looking at uniforms and kind of how they play the game, kind of check their faces out and kind of see what they're feeling. Perry Ellis, he had a big smile on his face after he's fouled because he realized he was about 1 step away from getting a dunk that time and really wanted to have it. But I think the pressure's been on this Wichita Heights team. I give them all the credit in the world with just 2 returning starters. And of course, you got the best player in Kansas in Perry Ellis, and certainly a counterpart in Terrence Moore has a lot of game experience, but this squad was all playing junior varsity basketball and have really stepped up and answered the call here. Now, really got a great import when Gavin Thurman showed up in the school district.
And Mark can put a star by this at 1:59 in the 3rd quarter. The Falcons are already in the bonus, so they're going to shoot a lot of free throws between now and the end of the game.
8-point lead, 44-36. East needs a hoop. Loves shooting it. Gets the shot to drop. What a nice shot. Boy, was that artistic or what?
A big teardrop, high arcing teardrop there by Jalen Love. There aren't a lot of guys at this level that have that move in their arsenal.
6-point ball game now. Wichita Heights up. Here's Ellis. Ellis triple teamed by the East defenders. There's Gabe Lynch. Lynch up and over the defender. Shot missed. Rebound loose. Heights gets another opportunity. Ball loose and mishandled, but there's Thurman. Shot blocked. Here's Moore. Moore shot, no good. Thurman a follow-up, another follow-up.
How many chances are they going to get,
and a chance to reset. How many opportunities will Wichita Heights get here? And that's the thing, Mark Davidson. If you block shots, you got to still box out and find your rebounder. Wichita East comes back, Love. Foul's going to be called on Moore, who took a shot on it, tried to jump the passing lane, and instead gets called for the foul. So Wichita East is a terrific team at blocking passes, but sometimes they tend to lose their defenders. When you go up and block a shot, you still got to block because there's going to be a loose ball and somebody's going to pick it up.
If the Aces are going to get back in this ball game, they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. They're going to have to control loose balls. They're going to have to get on the glass, and they're not going to be able to give the Heights Falcons 2, 3, and 4 looks at it on a single offensive possession.
Jalen Love, who's really a driver, and they need him to shoot here and have some big offensive plays. Pass inside, and that pass goes awry. Wichita Heights is going to go back the other way. So Wichita Heights is really forcing Wichita East into some uncomfortable situations offensively, applying the pressure here. That 9-point lead is at 7, but Wichita Heights has decidedly tipped the momentum in their favor.
And now Heights will slow it down a little bit. They don't mind backing off the accelerator and running a set on the offensive end.
Run a little weave here. Here's Moore. Moore shot to the rim. Shot good. Boy, that looked really good as Moore gets the handoff from his teammate Gavin Thurman and hits the shot.
Mark, how good has Terrence Moore been tonight? And I feel like he's really picked his spots. Got a couple of key steals late in the first half and transition buckets, and they're able to take it to the rim and pull up and knock down the short jumper.
Inside 20 seconds to go. Wichita East is going to settle for the last shot here, and they need to get this done. Down 9 to Wichita Heights. Here's Love. Love takes it to the rim. Shot good.
He's just tremendous off the dribble. What a player.
Heights is going to get an opportunity. Moore, shot to the rim, and he gets it. Moore scores. It was not the last shot of the quarter. Love, long shot is no good as it hits the rim. And we've come to the end of the third quarter. One more quarter to play in this Tournament of Champions title game. Wichita Heights leads East 48-39. The fourth quarter is on the way. You're watching the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, sponsored by Western Plains Medical Complex on Cox, Kansas 22.
At Collision Center of Andover, it's all about the assist. It's all about assisting you at the start with our own in-house 24-hour tow service. It's about assisting you with your insurance company.
And don't forget about our lifetime warranty on all of our workmanship.
By the way, nice assist.
You ought to see him at his day job. At Collision Center of Andover, it's all about the assist. The highest quality collision repair. Collision Center of Andover.
You may have heard claims from other gold and silver buyers about how well they pay. The truth is, we're the only precious metal buyer in Western Kansas accredited by the Better Business Bureau. In addition, we have relationships with trade desks, collectors, and refiners in order to pay you top dollar. Doesn't matter if it's your grandmother's old silverware set or just one gold ring. We are located in Dodge City, so call 620-225-0414 today to set your personal appointment.
With Leon Label and Mark Davidson, this is Mark Ewing. Wichita Heights leads Wichita East by a score of 48-39. And we head to the fourth quarter of action here, the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, featuring 2 Greater Wichita City League games in the finals. Finds Heights with a 9-point lead. Perry Angeles handling, and a timeout is called. Joe Auer wants a timeout and gathers his troop, and I read his lips. He says, "What are you doing?" So we're going to reset here, and understanding once again, Mark Davidson, how important possessions are, even if it's a 9-point lead. And understanding they were confused coming at the first possession and really wants to set the tone here. It's important in this final quarter because right now Wichita Heights is in control of this basketball game.
Well, and understanding that I don't know that you want Perry Ellis handling the basketball 40 feet from the basket. I mean, he certainly can dribble, he can create off the dribble, but I don't think that's where you want to start your offense with your best player dribbling it out near the half-court line.
All right, so Perry Ellis with 24 points and Terrence Moore with 15. That's 39 of the 48 points for Wichita Heights. At least Wichita Heights has 4 scorers so far in the ball game. Gabe Lynch with a couple of big buckets. He has 4. Meanwhile, for Wichita East, Jalen Love with 12, Nathan Jackson with 11. And now the timeout. We'll see what Wichita Heights does as they go to work. Ron Allens takes 2 steps on the floor.
And the Falcons continue to shoot it extremely well. 50% from the field for the ball game and almost 87%, 13 for 15 from the foul line.
So Jalen Love is about as close as you can possibly be to Terrence Moore defensively. Gabe Lynch looking to set a pick as Wichita Heights is going to inbounds here. And the inbounds play is going to go to Thurman. Thurman has a one-on-one opportunity. Instead, leaves it for a teammate. And going to work, and the ball goes off his left ankle out of bounds. And it would have been a great field goal effort, but in this case, Wichita East is going to come back the other way.
I don't think that's the look Joe Auer wanted out of the timeout. But it's go time for Wichita East. I mean, every possession counts at the offensive end. I think it needs to run through Jalen Love, but I'd like to see him look for Nathan Jackson to penetrate and potentially drop it off. But they've got to score.
High screen game, Jalen Love driving, gets a shot to drop, and that's exactly what Jalen Love likes. Got a double screen top made his own space. 7-point ball game. Heights on top of East, 48-41.
I don't know how he gets some of those shots to go down. I mean, he's falling over, he's falling backwards, he looks off balance, and yet still graceful enough to score.
What a pass from Thurman at an interesting angle. Perry Ellis secures the basketball, puts it back up and in. 9-point lead, 50-41. Long shot. This will be a 2 if it goes. And misses. Rebound. Moore secures it for Wichita Heights. And back come the Falcons, who had numbers immediately. Moore thought about taking it, but now makes a smart decision and holds it up. East in man-to-man pressure.
And Kimron Burris continues to guard Perry Ellis, and he's given up about 5 or 6 inches.
Gabe Lynch also posting down low. Perry Ellis working around. I give Kimron Burris a lot of credit because he is working hard defensively.
I mean, you just try to isolate and throw it up to number 34 in there as he draws a double team. He wants the basketball.
Ellis got the ball, moved to his right, then moved back to his left and drew the foul. And a chance to step to the free throw line. Meanwhile, Kimron Burris of Wichita East goes over and lobbies his position with the officiating crew and is trying to get Ellis called for a hook, but they're not buying it right now. 50-41 ball game. Wichita Heights leads Wichita East. Wichita Heights up by just a bucket in a game that went back and forth, and then Wichita Heights went on a run thanks to Perry Ellis at the free throw line and his play inside. It kind of secured this lead. Should Ellis hit this free throw, it would be Wichita Heights' biggest lead in this basketball game. Biggest lead had been 9. Previous to the run, the biggest lead had been 3.
And if he hits this free throw, Mark, it will be at least 27 points in all 3 tournament games. And we see Larry Dennis return to the scores table, and he's kind of gone incognito.
Ellis with the dunk, 52-41. Missed both free throws, but gets 2 of them back on a stylistic dunk, which brings the crowd here to its feet.
I think you've got to get Larry Dennis back in the ball game to try to check Perry Ellis.
Nice play run by Wichita East. Reverse pass. Nathan Jackson scores. And it's 52-43. Biggest lead in the ball game. It was 11. Now back to 9. Here's Thurman. Thurman shot from 13 feet, misses. Ellis had his fingertips on it for a moment. Wichita Heights hustles the rebound, gets another opportunity. Head fake. Thurman gets it back on the perimeter. And Wichita Heights can afford to reset. Joe Auer, the head coach of Wichita Heights, goes to his feet, tells his team to reset. Jalen Love sets up defensively. And Gabe Lynch is going to get called for the carry. And Wichita East will get it coming back.
Right now, Mark, the Falcons are coming up with every 50-50 ball. And that's been a huge difference in this game. And I mean, that's just easy pickings for Perry Ellis. If he gets a drop step there with nobody behind him, he's going to put it down with 2 hands.
Ellis has saved his best for last here in this championship game at United Wireless Arena in Dodge City. Tournament of Champions coming down to its final 5.5 minutes with Wichita Heights up by 9 and Wichita East 52-43. Falcons 10-0 in the season. Here's a drive by Love. The foul, however, is going to be called on Jordan Lattimore, who's in the ball game. And Jalen Love, if Wichita East is going to come back, Love is going to come and bring his best weaponry, which would be the 3-point shot, in order to get his Wichita East team back in a hurry.
I really like Jalen Love's game. I mean, I just have been absolutely blown away with the way he's been able to get to the lane and finish and use his body. And I don't know how he gets some of the shots up that he does, but he will be a great addition at the University of Denver next year.
Sean Terrell had it for a moment. That shot was by Larry Dennis. No good. Wichita Heights secures the rebound. Lynch looking for a teammate. Perry Ellis comes back to help him. There's more.
Good patience by the Falcons at the offensive end.
Probably nobody knows Wichita Heights better than Wichita East. Its strength, its weaknesses. Whistle and a foul is called. Foul is going to be called on Deshaun Terrell. No, a timeout's called. Joe Auer. That was not a foul called. Joe Auer again wanting his team to settle down. That's the second time that Auer has called a timeout when he thinks his team offensively was a bit confused. So Joe Auer resets and make sure that Gabe Lynch knows exactly what the call is. Gabe Lynch, they got some versatile players, does Wichita Heights. You see Gabe Lynch posting down low, then coming out in the perimeter and handling the basketball. Same thing with certainly Perry Ellis, who's done the same. Terrence Moore's done a nice job and getting some explanation, getting this team on the same page. What really changed the complexion of Wichita Heights was really when Gavin Thurman transferred in, who had been a 19 points per game scorer at Wichita Southeast during the 2010-11 season. He was at Heights as a freshman, then he moved back last April, and the Missouri State signee. So all of a sudden you go from 2 college-bound players with Perry Ellis to 3. And I think he's made a really nice mix. It's been a little bit of a challenge for Wichita Heights, but it seems like they've done a nice job of mixing a new chemistry, and are probably still working on it at this point, but boy, you can't argue with 10-0.
I talked to Joe Auer about that exact thing and said, was it hard for Gavin Thurman to kind of assume a different role? He wasn't necessarily the guy on this team. He was, part of the supporting cast. And he said not at all. He said he's embraced his role from day one. He's gone from being an interior player to a perimeter player, and certainly the Falcons are much better with him on the squad.
In fact, Thurman inbounds here. Perry Ellis grabs it, top of the perimeter. 52-43 ball game, 9-point lead. Gabe Lynch handling. Wichita Heights can afford to take some time and be choosy in their shot selection. Here's Moore. Moore goes up and under, and he's going to get called. Or Wichita East is going to get called for the foul. Looks like Nathan Jackson. And boy, Terrence Moore leaves his feet and at least had a place to go with it.
Here's the problem. When you have to pay so much attention to Perry Ellis, the help side defense is slow to arrive. And so once Terrence Moore is able to get to the baseline, Deontay Brandon, who's guarding Perry Ellis, is just a half step slow getting there, and he has no choice but to foul him and send him to the free throw line.
Terrence Moore was an honorable mention selection as a junior. He's averaging 13.5 points per game, got 3 rebounds. And from three-point range, at least heading into this game, was 8 of 25. So Moore misses the free throws, and that was an important defensive set for Wichita East. Chance for the Aces to make a rally here. Down 9 with the basketball, and East needs to have a big performance here from Jalen Love. The rest of the ball game, long three. It's short. Perry Ellis the rebound. Here comes Heights. Heights has a breakaway. Layup blocked. Blocked by East. And what a nice block by Deontay Brandon. East has come back the other way. Big ooh and ah from the crowd here on hand to watch that block. And here's Moore. Moore on the steal the other way. Heights 3-on-2. Moore left-handed layup up and good as it rolls over the rim. Trying to make a defensive stand was Deshaun Terrell. The Wichita Heights lead, and now at 11. And that's the biggest lead in this basketball game. In fact, Moore almost came up with another steal. Here's Love. Love drives the lane in the paint. Leaves it for a teammate. This is Jackson. Shot no good. Rebound by Perry Ellis. And it looks like East here is a little bit tired. Timeout is called. It looked like a official's timeout.
I think Ron Allen asked for timeout, but Wichita Heights had already secured the basketball. But how active is Terrence Moore on the defensive end? His hands are just always going. He's a step ahead. He gets his hands on a lot of basketballs. Even if he doesn't come up with a steal, he forces deflections. That's going to be a foul right there, and Perry Ellis is going to shoot free throws.
You see a couple of the last replays. Wichita Heights back to live action here. Perry Ellis was just fouled. 54-43 ball game, as Mark Davidson alluded to. That were there in the bonus, and have been in the bonus for some time. Both teams pleading their case to a very experienced officiating crew, who nearly every timeout is hearing from both coaches and even players as well about how those calls should go.
But what I like about this veteran crew, Mark, is they're not afraid to have conversations with coaches, to tell them where they stand. Hey, this is what I saw. This is what I didn't see. This is why I blew my whistle. And I think that communication between coaches and officials is important, and I think our crew tonight's done a nice job.
Boy, Perry Ellis is just a tremendous free throw shooter. He's done such a great job. Very calm free throw shooter, stepping up. Now 56-43, 13-point lead, biggest lead of the ball game for Wichita Heights. Here's Love, shot no good, drives, draws the foul, level step to the free throw line.
I think if Gabe Lynch just holds his ground and falls backwards, he could draw an offensive foul. Take a look at this. It looks to me like Lynch had the spot, but just didn't set his feet. And Love aggressively went to the hole. Perry Ellis, by the way, Mark, now with a nice round, 30 points.
So 30 of the 56 points belong to Perry Ellis, who had 27 and 27 in game 1 and 2.
What do you do for an encore? You score 30 in the championship. I think the debate may be virtually over for most outstanding player of the tournament.
So Jalen Love at the free throw line, 3.5 minutes to go. Still some time for Wichita East, but they got to hit those free throws. Wichita Heights can really afford to take its time. This is a team that can also control pace, though a little growing, not as much as they could a year ago, but certainly in this case, kind of growing along the way. Here's Gabe Lynch with Thurman. Thurman, strong move, but he's going to get called for the travel. And Joe Auer lets his senior forward know that maybe that wasn't the best choice to make.
Well, it's not over yet, but the time is now. East needs a bucket on just about every possession if the Aces are going to turn this thing around.
Strong drive, ball out of bounds. It'll stay with Wichita East. Heights and East have met 6 times In the Tournament of Champions history, Heights leads the series 5-1. They have met 3 times in the championship game, with Heights winning 2 of the 3. And Wichita East's only Tournament of Championship win over Heights was in the championship game back in 1992. It's a both long history. Look at Ellis. Strong block. Here comes Moore on the other end. Moore's going to dunk it. What a play. Ellis the block. Moore on the other end. And by far put 5 stars for that highlight, because that was the best play of the tournament so far.
That's a highlight sandwich. Started on one end by Perry Ellis with the block, and Terrence Moore with the power finish at the other end. It doesn't get much better than that.
I'm going to put 5 stars by that play. 58:43 to go, 2:50 to go. And the block started it, and the dunk on the other end. Let's watch the replay.
I mean, this wasn't a block, Mark. That was a volleyball spike. Gavin Thurman leading the break, and Terrence Moore
bringing it down in a hurry. Meanwhile, back to live action. Here's Love. Shot no good, but Love was fouled. And a chance to step to the free throw line. 58-43 ball game. Wichita Heights up by 15. If you just joined us, it has been a close ball game. We talked about the stat marker at one point in this ball game, and I've kind of lost track a little bit. There were 11 ties in the ball game and 10 lead changes. In a game that went back and forth, and neither team could really step up. Well, midway in the third quarter, Wichita Heights did so, kind of went on a little 7-0 run.
Here's the problem. When you play a team as good as Wichita Heights, the margin of error is just razor thin. So if you are not at the height of your game for 32 minutes, you're just not going to win. And I think Heights has played a tremendous basketball game. I mean, it's not that East has played bad. I just think the Wichita Heights Falcons have been outstanding this evening.
Timeout in the court. Best defensive team in the state. You'll probably get an argument from the hometown Dodge City Red Demons, but Wichita Heights has held everyone to under 52 points per game. That's outstanding for Wichita Heights team in high school basketball. But Joe Hour talked about, learning points in the season and how they've handled this 54-game winning streak. I thought it was interesting to point out that he thought that one of the biggest learning points came a year ago, and even if his junior varsity guys were there to watch more than play, and they played in the McPherson Invitational back-to-back outings. You take another look at the replay here as Moore on the dunk.
That's a guard. Yeah, that's a point guard getting up like that, Terrence Moore.
But again, as we allude back to that McPherson Invitational, playing in a big arena setting, you don't get to do that every night.
And we talk about terrific tournaments, and I would put the TOC up against any of them. But boy, that McPherson one would certainly give it a run for its money. And being a hometown guy from McPherson, there's a lot of allure and reverence for that tournament every year as well.
There is some terrific tournaments, and not to leave anybody out, the Pika Invitational Tournament.
Another good one.
Garden City has a tournament out here. There's some small school tournaments going on, and it's been kind of fun to watch this week come to fruition. But I think everybody was pointing to what would happen when Wichita Heights, if they could face Wichita East in the championship game of this Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions. And it is happening now. Wichita Heights has answered the challenge. Heights, layup, good. On the other end, a nice play by Jordan Lattimore. And Heights is the first team to get a 60. The lead is 15 at 60-45.
And Lattimore just went right at the bigger fella and said, "You stop me," and he didn't do it.
Love, baseline move, is going to step to the free throw line. I love Jalen Love's game. The 6'1" senior has been a 4-year varsity player. Just has a lot of moves.
Quick step to the baseline. Kind of gave him a little look off. Finishes strong.
So the argument about who the second best player in the tournament, Jalen Love probably wins that argument, although Wichita Heights had a couple of tremendous players, and Gavin Thurman and Terrence Moore has really made a strong statement in this basketball game. But Jalen Love, probably the second best player in the tournament. 60-48 ball game, 12 points, 2:20 to go. Wichita East still within distance, 4 3-pointers. It's Gabe Lynch trying to split the defense. Short 5-footers missed, but Moore chases it down. Wichita East was successful in making Wichita Heights hurry that time, but didn't box out. Another opportunity. As the double pick high, Moore working around it. His teammate Ely Bell. Ball knocked loose, and the foul is going to be called. Foul is going to be called on Nathan Jackson.
And you see the emotion there from Jalen Love. I mean, you think this game didn't matter to him?
Oh, boy,
there's a senior playing against his crosstown rival in a tournament of this caliber. He wants this awfully bad, and he's played awfully hard tonight. And Mark, and if the final margin ends up being greater than double digits, and that certainly could be the case with 1:52 left, I will walk away from this feeling like the final score wasn't indicative of the type of basketball game we've seen tonight, because For as good as Wichita Heights is, I think this has been a fairly evenly matched contest.
Wichita East opened with a 60-39 victory over Ulysses, and then followed that up with a 64-38 win over Hutchinson. And meanwhile, Heights beat St. James Academy 60-43 and then defeated Dodge City. And the follow-up is good by Gavin Thurman. It's now a 62-48 contest. Wichita Heights has really stepped up to face the challenge, and the talent factor really looks good in the Wichita Heights favor here, up by 14.
I'll be interested to see what the final tally is on second chance points, because the Falcons in the second half have come up with second opportunities and loose balls. And
double dribble was the call on Wichita East. Ron Allen wants an explanation. Officiating crew gets together to have a conversation to clarify things over. There'll be some learning points for Wichita East in this basketball game, particularly at that turning point in the third quarter when they needed to make a play. Perry Ellis gets the basketball, gets two-timed, and then gets fouled. And Ellis is going to step to the free throw line. He's a good guy to have at the free throw line. He's been just a great free throw shooter for Wichita Heights in this ball game.
Well, here's the thing that's nice too, Mark. You look at Perry Ellis, you know, he plays the 5 spot for Heights. In most teams, when you face late game pressure defense, a guy his size that plays his position is a liability. Perry Ellis is a luxury because you can throw it to him from almost anywhere on the floor. He can handle the ball, and he's an outstanding free throw shooter, and so you don't have to substitute a small, quick guard for Perry Ellis at the end of the game. He's great against the full court pressure as well.
Wichita Heights leading rebounder past this guy known as Antoine Carr, and now chasing Aubrey Sherrod as the all-time leading scorer. Here's Love, draws contact, draws a whistle, foul, and we're having a little free throw shooting contest. Which we had a free throw shooting contest in between games. That was interesting.
We did.
Of all the things that has happened in this event, all the good things, I think that was interesting to watch. All tournament team in 2011, Rico Hogan from Dodge City, Trey Holman, who was a returnee. The all-time tournament team includes, among others, B.H. Bourne, Ron Paradis, Washburn Rural High School, L.J. Goolsby of Dodge City, Taj Gray, Wichita East, and certainly it will include Perry Ellis.
No doubt about it.
Jalen Love at the free throw line, 63-49 contest. Shot is good. They also hand out an individual sportsmanship award, which 2 years ago was won by Gardner Edgerton's Bubba Starling. So it's fun to look at the names. And
why do I know that name?
Just the guys that
multi-million-dollar man for the Kansas City Royals.
We need his phone number.
Yeah.
Here's Thurman on the drive, getting guarded. 63-50, number 12 ranked team in the country with 3 consecutive state championships. Gabe Lynch is fouled by Jalen Love, trying to knock the ball loose. But instead the foul is called, and Gabe Lynch will step to the free throw line. Just a week ago, maybe a little bit more, Wichita Heights defeated Wichita East 70-60. That was a higher scoring game than this one. Wichita Heights entering with a 54-game win streak. Gabe Lynch did not play in that ball game. Hits this one and hits the free throw because of an ankle difficulty. But much has happened, and these two teams will play again before the season is done in a greater Wichita City League contest. Gabe Lynch hits the second free throw, and it's 65-50. Wichita Heights up by 15.
And I will promise you, Joe Hour's not excited about seeing Wichita East again, because this is a good basketball team, and as it looks like Jalen Love hit the floor pretty hard, and now Ron Allen's going to call timeout. We hope he's all right. You'd hate to see any player, but a player of his caliber who, you wonder if he just landed kind of hard.
Yeah, I think he landed hard. He's going to slowly come to the sideline, but Ron Allen was over to take him. Ron Allen didn't look really concerned as he waved his star player up off the floor. I think Jalen Love just hit the floor hard, needs a breath there, and we'll let him have a breath here. 65-50 inside a minute to go in the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, and it's featured some big plays in this one. As we take a look at the replay.
What happened here? It didn't look like he took a whole lot of contact.
Might be just a tired player.
He may just be out of gas. I mean,
he's been running around here, and
you cannot fault the effort, as he looks like he's being tended to by the training staff. And we're keeping an eye on him as he kind of tries to catch his breath.
He's got a lot of basketball left this season, including in the awards in the tournament. Most inspirational player, team sportsmanship, individual sportsmanship, coaches sportsmanship, all academic team for players and cheerleaders, individual all tournament basketball team and cheerleaders. Tournament trophy presentations. I hope they got a lot of hardware. That's somebody in town that makes all the trophies.
It's good work.
Yeah,
good work to be a trophy store in Dodge City, no question.
So 65-50, Wichita Heights leading East. The game had big time drama, and Wichita Heights has taken control of this basketball game. Here's Perry Ellis. And Ellis looking for Moore. Nice pass. Moore hits the shot, and he's going to step to the free throw line and a big smile. What a play, what a pass by Perry Ellis, who certainly he's got to be in double-double territory. I don't know how many assists he has, but this one's pretty.
Look at that, just the no look to a cutting Terrence Moore. The young man can do it all. We've seen him block shots. We've certainly seen him score around the rim. And there's a great look to a cutting teammate.
Biggest lead in the ball game right here, 17 points, 67-50 as Wichita Heights is leaving no doubt about it. By the way, only one team is going to the bench. Larry Dennis, he had a nice game, he had a nice tournament, plenty of basketball to play. Only one team in the tournament entered with a losing record. 8 teams at 43 of winning 43 of 67, which speaks to the caliber 69-50.
And I have a feeling this is a timeout for substitution. Joe Hour's going to get some of his reserves in the basketball game and get them a few seconds here in the Tournament of Champions.
So get your program out, because we've got a whole new team in for Wichita Heights. 69-50 ball game. Wichita Heights is taking control of this one. We talked about in the old days when that trophy was 6.5 feet tall, not quite that big nowadays. However, the prestige of winning this still carries a lot of momentum for it and speaks volumes to the type of tournament. When you've been 69 years around, you win this tournament, that's a nice addition to what you have in your trophy shelf, even if you already have a mini state championship trophies already there.
And it should be pointed out that Dodge City will still reign supreme in the all-time list of champions with 14. Wichita East had a chance to catch the Red Demons this year. The Aces have won it 13 times, and they will have to wait another year to give it a shot at number 14.
So high fives all the way around for the Wichita Heights team, which takes a seat in the ball game at the moment. Lauren Smith, who's actually a starter, remains in the ball game along with Ely Bell, Jordan Lattimore, Chris
It's time to
Reed.
celebrate a little bit. You see some smiles from Gavin Thurman and Perry Ellis, and you've got to savor wins. I don't care if it's one win or 55 straight. Wins don't come easy, especially against teams like Wichita East. So time to celebrate a little bit for the Falcons, and hats off to Joe Hour and company. They have played, in my estimation, their best game of the tournament. And, you know, I'd be interested to hear his take, but I would guess maybe one of their best games of the year.
Well, I'll say at 10-0 and heading to the second stretch here. The team that will have a chance against Wichita Heights will have to control the game with their guards and control pace and tempo. We saw a little bit of that last night. Dodge City was extremely successful the first quarter when Trey Holman really ran the show and in fact led 7-2. But when the guard play is neutralized by Wichita Heights, it really changes the way this game is played. 69-52 ball game, lead is 17, final 30 seconds of this ball game in the tournament championship game. It saw a great crowd last night, about 2,800 on hand. Long shot is missed by Wichita East, or rather by Wichita Heights. East on the rebound, coming back the other way. Jackson lets it fly, Heights rebound. Here's Smith, Smith underneath, had it for a moment, looks to a teammate. Final 4 seconds, and Wichita Heights can march it off. The 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions has a finalist and a title has been named. The Falcons are champions. Wichita Heights defeats Wichita East by a final of 69-52. And for Wichita Heights, that is the 11th, count them, 11th win of the season for a team whose win streak continues to 55. 55th win in a row. We're going to take a break here. We're going to return. We're hopeful that we'll get some post-game presentation, maybe a comment for the winning coach. We'll find out when we come back. You're watching the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, sponsored by Western Plains Medical Complex at United Wireless Arena on Cox, Kansas 22.
We know winter is a busy time of year, but we also know that you don't want to get into your car on a cold winter's morning and hear this. That's why McGuirk Chevrolet Service, Parts, and Body Shop are extending their hours to meet your busy schedule. We are now open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Your car will be ready to go when you are. McGuirk Chevrolet Service Department in Dodge City with all new hours.
At Renewal by Anderson, it's never been easier to replace your old inefficient windows. One call and we do it all. In-home measurements, windows built to match your home, and our expert installers typically only have your windows out for a few minutes. And for a short time, receive free installation plus no money down, no payments, and no interest for 1 full year. Free installation and pay nothing until next year. Now that's too good of a deal to pass up.
Renewal by Anderson, we love our new windows.
For this tax season, the Mattress Hub is giving you more than just the gift of a great night's sleep. Right now, receive up to $300 in gift cards to places like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and more. That's right, free gift cards with every mattress. With the largest selection of Simmons, Serta, iComfort, Tempur-Pedic, and more, let us change the way you sleep forever. The best prices, 1-year comfort guarantees, and now free gift cards. Cheap, cheap, why buy your mattress anywhere else?
Follow the cheap sheep to the Mattress Hub.
Along with Leon Liebel and Mark Davidson, Mark Ewing, final Wichita Heights defeats Wichita East by a score of 69-52. The 2012 Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions finalist and winner are the Falcons of Wichita Heights, ranked number 12 in the country, 3-time state champions in back-to-back-to-back years. And on the floor, the champions are being named in a number of categories. We'll mention that Wichita Heights now has 6 Tournament of Champions championships in their 13th appearance in the championship game. And the folks who came on hand here had a wonderful experience. Let's see if we can pick up the PA announcer and listen to some of the awards being handed out. Let's listen in on the post-game ceremonies here in Dodge City.
Rebecca Shirley, Kylie Gifford, and Leila Killian. A warm round of applause for all their hard work tonight.
Our next award is the Bob Harper Coach's Sportsmanship Award. Coach Mark Uppy from St. James Academy, they have left and he has received his award. And now we'll move to the Team Sportsmanship Award, presented by the Lions Club. Don Webb will present the award. And the Team Sportsmanship Award goes to the Ulysses Tigers.
Yeah, so the final, once again, 69-52 ball game. Wichita Heights defeating Wichita East. As we take a look at the final sheet here, Mark Davidson, what do you see?
Well, obviously Perry Ellis's line is going to jump out at you. 31 points, 9 rebounds. Jalen Love was tremendous for East, 21 points. He had 5 assists as well to go along with that. But you look at the disparity in rebounds, and I think that told a big story, especially in the second half. Heights out-rebounded the Aces 36-22, and I felt like the Falcons just got to more loose balls. They had second-chance opportunities, and I think that's where they were really able to kind of create some separation, because for the first half, I thought this looked like a matchup of 2 very equal basketball teams.
So on the floor at the moment, the Ulysses team, which won 7th place with a 40-38 victory over Hayes. Garrett Kissel with a tip and the buzzer is being honored, and in fact, the young man holding the trophy right now was the free throw champion.
Mr. Czar, that's right.
And he holds it up high, got a great smile, did a great job with Leon Liebel in the interview.
He did.
And
I think he's got a future in broadcasting.
I think he's going to get a movie deal out of this. His big smile.
Watch our back, Mark Ewing.
So that's what's going on. Right. He did a tremendous job. Let me also mention, as I look at the stats, Ulysses leaving the floor right now, 54.3% shooting by Wichita Heights in this basketball game. And certainly made a point of talking about all the lead changes and the number of ties in the basketball game. Well, it ended with 10 lead changes and 12 ties, but if you watch the fourth quarter, it was all Wichita Heights. Kind of forgot the drama.
Yeah, you did, and I think it's important to point out also, a lot of times, you know, when you see a winner and a loser, you think it's because one team played bad and the other team played good. Well, I didn't think that East High School played particularly bad tonight. The game got away from them a little bit with about 10 minutes left, but I just thought Heights was especially good. I thought Terrence Moore was tremendous tonight. Certainly his best game of the tournament. He had 21 points, 4 steals as well, and was able to create some opportunities for his team in transition. Gavin Thurman chipped in 9 points as well. And I thought the role players for Heights did their job. So I just think it was a really good all-around performance by Joe Hour's club.
So Perry Ellis with 31, Terrence Moore with 21. Wichita Heights victor, Wichita East. For the East Blue Aces, Jalen Love had 21, Nathan Jackson at 15. Those are the two big guns for the Aces. But the Aces shot just 20 of 48 from the game for 41.7% shooting. But at the free throw line, we're 10 for 13. Wichita Heights had 28 opportunities at the charity stripe, ended up hitting 18 of them as the award ceremony continues. We are hopeful that we can at least show you Wichita Heights winning the championship trophy, though I'm not sure we're going to get to that. We are handing out individual all cheerleader team. This is something you will not see anywhere, at least anywhere that I've ever seen, where the actual cheerleaders wear numbers on their outfits, and they are determined in an all-tournament team. So
I think it's good, Mark.
Something different.
They're an integral part of the game as well. They bring a lot of spirit and enthusiasm to the game, and I think it's great. So I'm glad they recognize them as well.
All right, so back at courtside, if you'll go to us, we got Coach Joe Hour of Wichita Heights, who's also got a stat sheet with us. And congratulations, Coach Hour, on winning this championship. I know you've won a lot of championships over the year, but I'm certain that this is a prestigious one to win.
This is a great day for us. Tremendous basketball game. Probably our best half of the season in the second half, especially on the defensive end and on the boards. I thought it was a terrific job by us, and real proud of our guys tonight.
I speculated you might say that, and you look up the final margin, and it's 17 points, and yet I felt like East pushed you guys really hard for the first half. What adjustments did you make at halftime, and how were you able to stretch that lead in the third quarter?
Well, we talked a lot about eliminating their offensive rebounds. If we could hold them to one shot per possession, they had 8 offensive rebounds in the first half. If we could do that, our transition game, we felt really had a chance to succeed tonight because they didn't do a good job getting back on defense. But we turned it over 11 times in the first half. Many of those were in transition, so we cleaned that up in the second half. And,
Coach, we just saw a highlight of Terrence Moore right there. And I didn't think last night was his best effort, but I thought he was absolutely tremendous tonight, created opportunities for you guys in transition and really picked his spots.
I thought Terrence Moore was the most inspirational kid this tournament. He's playing hurt, got a pretty bad high ankle sprain, and he really makes us go. He makes a lot of off-ball plays. He's electric in transition, and does what a 4-year senior ought to do. He finishes plays, and 2 terrific games in this tournament for us, but great leadership all 3 nights.
Let me ask the question that everybody wants to know at home, our viewership across the state of Kansas. How do you coach a team with a 55-game winning streak? How do you guys handle the pressure? And what's it like around Wichita Heights High School, knowing that you guys are back-to-back state champions?
One game at a time, really. You know, one of the things we stress with the kids is you have to enjoy this. Too many people want people to look ahead and worry about things that are way on down the road. And when you have kids, when you have high school kids, it's really important for them to enjoy every day, because every day can be something different. And our kids do a good job of that. We're not worried at all about anything other than Cape and Mount Carmel on Tuesday night in our gym. And you know, that sounds cliche, but everybody in our program really buys into that. And we never get beyond our next game.
Joe, thanks for being with us. I don't want you to miss the trophy presentation. Now, in the old days, the trophy is 6.5 feet tall, so now you can actually fit it on the bus and take it home back with you. Joe, congratulations on another championship for Wichita Heights.
Thank you for being here, guys. We really appreciate it.
A pleasure very much. All right, so Joe Hour, head coach of Wichita Heights High School, the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions, and the big trophies are going to be coming here as they continue, as Perry Ellis, obviously named the most valuable player, gets handshakes all around and gets an opportunity here to get a trophy. What a nice young man he is. We had an opportunity to speak with his parents, and he has good parents, and we know that for sure.
And that's important. He's a grounded young man. He's soft-spoken. You know, you won't get him to talk a whole lot about himself, but he just kind of goes about his business. He's a very business-like player. I know Leon mentioned that when he scores, he does it quietly, if it's possible to have a quiet 31, but he's one of the most enjoyable players I've ever come across to watch.
He smiles too.
Yeah, not very often, but he's very businesslike. But I can promise you he doesn't like all this attention on him right now. He just goes out there and just continues to amaze. He makes plays that make your jaw drop all the time.
Yeah, and his teammates getting around him, they love him. Perry Ellis is a team player. You forget, as Leon Liebel joins us here at courtside, how unselfish Wichita Heights really is. That's a pretty good characteristic for this squad.
It's a lot of fun watching this team play, and the best way to describe Perry Ellis in my mind is quietly spectacular. I know That's a contradiction in terms, but that's the best way I can come up with. He's just tremendous, and he never gets too high, gets too low. He never shows too much emotion, and fantastic player to watch. And what a basketball tournament it's been.
So the Salt Hawks of Hutchinson at the moment are on the court. Mr. Ream holding that that third place. Feels like a championship trophy, but it's a third place trophy. Battle for third and fifth, so they're holding it up. The Salt Hawks came in and won a tough battle here against the Dodge City team. And in fact, we're down 7, came back and won by 7. That seems like yesterday, that basketball game, but there really was a 44-37 final. Hutchinson defeating Dodge City, and that was for the third and fifth place game. And while we watch Hutch leave the floor, any impressions of that ball game that kind of stick in your mind?
Well, I thought Hutch showed a lot of guts. I mean, just really kind of grinded one out as they recognized East, and that's a pretty good consolation prize for second place. That's a nice looking trophy right there. To finish the thought on Hutch, I thought they just played gritty and tough, and as you would expect from a team that kind of plays like a school with a football mentality.
All right, so Wichita East to the second place trophy, and Leon Liebel, should East be disappointed with this, or do they learn from this? This is going to be a difficult kind of game for them to swallow here.
I think you're going to be disappointed, obviously, especially the way they played in the first half. It was a 2-point game at halftime, and then Heights just too much in the second half. But I think they can learn something, and obviously they got a lot of talent. I really enjoy watching Jalen Love play.
He's got a good ball game, doesn't he?
Yeah, we talk about Barry Ellis being quietly spectacular. He's just spectacular.
Yeah. So the big moment has come at United Wireless Arena here in Dodge City. The greater Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions finalist, the Western Plains Medical Complex, and the champion is about to be named. Jay Gifford handles the microphone and takes a look at Wichita Heights, and they're the Falcons. They're going to step up and get a trophy here. What a nice outing for a team that is now 11-0 on the season and won 55 in a row. And as Joe Hours said, boy, just enjoy what they've been doing.
I think it's important to enjoy every step along the way. You know, there's no guarantee that you're going to walk out there and win tomorrow. And as Leon has alluded to numerous times, there have been some really tremendous basketball players and legacies that have come through this tournament. You're joining very elite company. I mean, this is good company to be in, and they need to savor this win. Maybe it's not a state championship for them, but this is certainly something to remember for a long time.
Gabe Lynch holds up the trophy. Leon Liebel thought about Wichita Heights.
Fun to watch, and what a tremendous team. And I got to give it up to Joe Hour. I think a lot of people say he's got Perry Ellis, he's got all this talent. But when you win 55 games in a row, something's going right with coaching. He's got this team prepared every night.
So the 69th annual Dodge City High School Tournament of Champions now comes to a conclusion. The photo moment, we're going to conclude our telecast here. Final score once again, Wichita Heights over Wichita East by a score of 69-52. We'd like to thank the Dodge City Tournament directors, Jay Gifford and Tammy Preston, for their efforts. Facility folks here at United Wireless Arena in Dodge City. The video production crew has been the Media Services Incorporated of Dodge City. Our producer director has been Mike Nelson. Once again, you watched a number of games. Ulysses winning today, St. James Academy won, Hutchinson won, but in the final, it was Wichita Heights, a 69-52 winner over Wichita East. For Leon Liebel and Mark Davidson, this is Mark Ewing saying thanks for watching, and so long, everybody, from Dodge City.